Yo, what is going on, everyone? I am back after testing out my S2, and now I feel like I have enough time to give my final thoughts on it. But before I get into the review, I do want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of the views, the comments, the subs, the likes. It really is nice to see, especially since I'm just some random guy who wants to put his opinions out online. I really appreciate it, and I do work, and I'm also in school. So if I don't get back to a comment within like a couple of hours or even a day, just know that I am going to. It's just more difficult because I have more on my plate. But with that out of the way, I would like to talk about my S2, and then afterwards, I will be doing a small comparison with the Gamesense Meta and the S2. So in terms of the S2, super good. The main changes they made were the weight reduction, the stress relief angle, and the cable quality. And the cable quality is really nice. It's super flexible, as you can see in a bungee. The only thing is it is thick. It's really thick. It was pretty hard to get into my bungee, but it wasn't a big deal after it's in it. I give my cables a lot of give because sometimes like when I'm browsing, I'm all the way back here because I'm leaning back in my chair. But I can't feel it. It does not catch on my hand whatsoever. So it's really nice. The angle doesn't really do a whole lot, as you can see, because I have so much cable. It kind of just goes straight back down. But the clicks feel really good. They feel the exact same as when I first got the mouse. The only thing is there's a small amount of post travel, very unnoticeable, but there's like little to no pre travel. I don't think there is pre travel actually. Scroll wheel is mad loud. I can hear it through music in my headphones sometimes. Like, it's really loud. The main thing about the scroll wheel, though, if you use your scroll wheel a lot for games or for productivity reasons, pressing it in is very difficult. It's really hard. I gotta say, like, I can't use my middle finger. I usually use my middle finger to press in, but like I have to use my pointer because it's just so tough to put in or press in. These side buttons are really good. These are really light. Like, they're really easy to actuate. I don't notice any pre or post travel, to be honest. It's kind of hard to notice that for me. Okay, so it's like the main mouse clicks. There's a very small amount of post travel, but little to no pre travel. And then they're nice and thick, so it's really easy to push in game. It's been a really nice pleasure to use them. The only thing is because my hands are small, my thumb sometimes hits it. So sometimes, like playing COD or something, I'll like stim myself or throw a stun by accident. But that's just like a my grip thing. The feet, I changed the moment I got the mouse, actually. They could have made any mouse pad feel like a QCK. They were really bad. So I just decided to ditch them and put some Tiger Ice feet on. You can get these at Lethal. The ones that say like S2, it's the same exact ones as an S2-C, so you don't have to worry about that. The C series is exactly the same. You just got to make sure that you're getting the S2 ones and not the EC3 ones. But using this mouse and then the weight, so I know I had my X10 pad here before, but I had to opt for my Hien because it's really heavy. And I'm an arm aimer, and I play on low sense, so like swiping like long distances like this, or even tracking like this, it was pretty hard to do on a control pad and with a heavier mouse. Even though I had Tiger Ice feet on, it was still pretty difficult for me. But after I put the Tiger Ice feet on, they feel a little bit better. It still fatigues my arm after some play, sadly, because it's so heavy. And this thing is a brick. Like, literally putting this in my hand, it feels like I'm holding like a Nokia phone. Like, I feel like I'm back in like 1942. I do feel like they could have shaved off some weight, mainly because if Logitech can do it, why can't Zowie do it? Like, these companies have been in the game for so long. Like, if Logitech can do it, obviously Zowie can do it when they make all these amazing shapes. Like, they're like the pioneers of good shapes. I feel like they could have absolutely shaved off some weight with how heavy this thing is. They're not like Gamesense, where they're like a brand new company. Like, they've been in the game for a long time. But now that I'm done with the review, I do want to go into the comparison of which one I think is better for the mass majority of people. In terms of the comparison between the S2 and the Meta, just overall shape and grip, I definitely have to give it to the S2. It feels so much more natural for me to do it like this. And then the grip, like the material of the mouse itself, I do like the Zowie much more. It's a lot grippier, and I get a much like better stable grip when I do like move it around and stuff. The Gamesense Meta is just a lot more slippery, and then it still does cramp my palm over here. If I'm talking about clicks, however, like main mouse buttons, scroll wheel, and then side buttons, always know that the Gamesense Meta wins in that category. The feeling, the tensioning, it just feels so much better on Kill 4.0s. And the only way I'm going to say I like mouse buttons more than Kill 4.0s is if it's Kill 8.0s. But mouse feet, both were awful. Like, both are just bad. In terms of completely stock experience, these are Tiger Ice feet. So... in terms of completely stock experience, though, I would still give it to Zowie because these they may be aftermarket skates, but the stock skates came just as rounded. It was pretty insane. I've never seen more rounded stock feet on a mouse other than like the Zowie skates, which was crazy. And then they're much bigger. So although I did say it could make any mouse pad for me feel like a QCK, it's a much better glide because it's thick, it's bigger feet, and then they're really, really rounded, which was really nice. The Gamesense Meta it's kind of just like a letdown because they are using PTFE feet, but they have so much space to like push in more. Like I don't really need the branding over here, and you could have just pushed up the text so that you could have more room for mouse feet. In terms of like cable, if you don't have a bungee, I would probably go with the S2. It doesn't move as much like on my desk, and it's a lot more sturdy. So I do kind of prefer that. If you do have a bungee though, it's a lot easier to put this into it because it's so much thinner than the Zowie cable is. Stress relief doesn't really matter to me, but I kind of got to give it to Zowie just because it's so much more angled. If you do want a driverless experience, though, definitely go with Zowie. Because for Gamesense Meta, sadly, the sensor was initially set at like 2.7 millimeter liftoff distance. And then they did do a firmware update, which lets you automatically change it to 1 millimeter. Or you could use their software, which was approved by Windows. And that lets you change the liftoff distance. It lets you change the debounce time, the RGB, macros, and then DPI also. But yeah, in terms of the comparison, I'm still going to be using the Zowie S2 over my Meta. I'm going to let you guys decide for yourselves which one you think is better. It's really close. I thought it was going to be Zowie slamming Gamesense Meta, but it was a lot closer than I had thought. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about both mice. And if I do see you guys in the next upload, I will be very, very happy to see you guys back. Let me know if I missed anything. I will try to get back to every comment as soon as I possibly can. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.